All right, I think we are live. Happy weekend, everybody. I believe today is, oh, wow, it's already Monday, the 28th of November. And we are live from Tampa, Florida. And today we have a very special guest that we're going to be talking to. His name is Sheriff Mack. And a lot of topics we're going to cover today, including the border crisis, FEMA, the election. And feel free, guys, to get involved and ask questions, because what makes these live stream conversations so good is when you guys get involved and become part of the conversation. So, Sheriff Mack, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to my channel today.
Well, thanks for having me. And si quiere hablamos español también. Es
Oh,
cosa
very
suya.
nice. Are you a man of Latino descent?
Spain. We have Spain in our descent, so yes, I guess so. And yo hablo español.
That's really. I actually, my Spanish is very bad. I was born in Mexico, but I was adopted at birth by a white family, so I do not speak any Spanish, unfortunately.
I'll teach you, Adan. I'll teach you. Te lo
Gracias.
All right.
Gracias.
But anyway, regardless, you can always ask me why the Southern Poverty Law Center, the ADL, and all these other groups call me a racist. And I will tell you, I can answer that real easy. Because they're a bunch of damn liars. That's why.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is that companies like the ADL operate as propaganda arms for the Democrats to demonize people that they don't like. And the easiest way to do that is just to call somebody a racist, and the left is going to believe it.
Well, they're going to use it too. Yeah, and they'll use it. They'll just regurgitate the same lies. Oh, I saw that on the internet. ADL called Sheriff Mack a racist, so I'll just call him a racist as if I know for a fact that he is. And they never call me. They never verify any of the information. If you see it on the internet, of course it must be true, and they depend on that for their success.
Yeah, I think it's really important that if you're going to make the claim that someone's a racist, a bigot, a transphobe, that you actually sit down with them and hear their side of the story before you actually, put those labels on somebody.
Right.
So, Sheriff Mack, I want to talk about, to start off with, the thing that you're probably most known for is that you are the first sheriff to sue the federal government.
The first one in American history, and that's a long time. And yes, I started this whole thing. 6 other sheriffs joined me in that lawsuit. And then Sheriff Prince from Montana and I ended up at the Supreme Court together in December of 1996. Justice Scalia wrote the decision, and it was rendered in a 5-4 split June 27, 1997. And ever since then, I've been pounding the pavement, flying all over the country, flying all over the world. I've been to all 50 states. I've done presentations in 48 states. I still need to do Vermont and Rhode Island, which I'm looking forward to doing sometime in the near future. And the whole thing of it was based on state sovereignty, the authority and power of the sheriffs, local autonomy, the 10th Amendment, states' rights. And it's the most powerful 10th Amendment decision in the history of America. And again, the only time in history sheriffs sued the government and won a case at the U.S. Supreme Court.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the 10th Amendment? I'm looking it up online right here. And it says, just to give everyone a background, the 10th Amendment is the rights reserved to the states and the people. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved for the states respectively or to the people. So can you go into a little bit about why you brought that lawsuit and what it was about?
Well, the federal government has completely destroyed that principle. First of all, it says the powers, all the powers not delegated. And that's a key word, delegated. Who delegated these powers to the federal government in the first place? We did. The states. The 13 original states formed the Constitution and delegated to the federal government discrete and enumerated powers. This decision, and I've put the decision right here in this little book of the highlights of the case, and this case makes it very clear. And all of you should go to the website. Let's just make this very powerful ammunition commercial message right now. You need to get these to local officials. You need to get these to your party friends, all your family and friends, and say, look what the Supreme Court ruled in June of 1997. This has not been changed. It has not been altered. It has not been rescinded. This is still the law of the land. And the reason it's the law of the land is because it just reinforces the 10th Amendment and the Constitution. So I love what Scalia did here. I love the others that voted for this, but we barely won. It was close, but we won. And folks, you need to get these. You've never seen a Supreme Court decision like this. If you want to look up the case, just look up Mack v. U.S., M-A-C-K v. U.S. And the law school that did the best review was Cornell University. I studied that case, and I put all the best highlights in this little booklet. So go for it, and you'll love it.
Is this the case on the screen that I have? Mack versus United States?
That's it.
Arizona, 1994?
Yep, that's it.
All right, guys. I'm going to drop a link in the comment section. I don't know if it's clickable, but it's a really easy to Google search. You could just search up Mack v. U.S., and the first link will be from Justia U.S. Law. So if you guys want to see more after the stream, definitely go check it out. And just a reminder, now that we have some viewers on the channel, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Sheriff Mack live while we're here, shoot them in the comments and we will get to those.
That's right. Do it, man.
Awesome.
Oh, by the way, how long are we on?
Well, my live streams usually last anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, let's shoot for 45. That should work.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, ask me any question you want. I don't care. I don't care what it is. I was in law enforcement 20 years. I've done everything in law enforcement that's imaginable. Anything you've seen on TV, I've done it. Anything you've seen on the movies, I've done it. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sheriff Mack, where are you based right now?
I live right outside Phoenix in a suburb called Gilbert, and I'm supporting Jerry Sheridan here for sheriff because it's probably the most important race in Arizona right now, except maybe for Kerry Lake and President Trump. And this is the fourth largest sheriff's office in the country, and we need Jerry Sheridan in there really bad. And he won the primary big, and he's ahead in the polls. And I pray to the good Lord that he will be the next sheriff of Maricopa County.
I was going to ask, is that Maricopa County?
Yeah, yeah.
So Maricopa County is, I would say, one of the most controversial counties in the country.
Yep.
Because it seems like a lot of our elections kind of hinge on Maricopa. And from my understanding, there's been a lot of, let's call it suspicious activity when it comes to our elections there.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it, Adam. That's a nice way to put it, because, yeah, there's been a lot of irregularities in this county and in the state, but it's happening all over. Right now, Utah is going through a very irregular election for governor. Phil Lyman, a very good friend of mine, is being cheated out of the governor's race by the current incumbent governor and the other Rhino Mafia. And the Rhino Mafia is really cheating. This should be an embarrassment to Utah, but the local newspapers are covering it up. And if you want to see a big cheating thing going on, just look up the governor's race right now in Utah and Phil Lyman, Lyman, how they've cheated at every turn to try to keep him out and the governor and the current governor in. The governor that's in there right now, Spencer Cox, is not even qualified to be on the ballot. Yeah, that's where they've manipulated to be him. Why? Because the lieutenant governor, who is a running mate to Spencer Cox, is in charge of all the elections for the state. And she's manipulated and lied and lied and lied. And at first she said nobody even got to see the signatures that they got for Spencer Cox's campaign. That's illegal. They are open. The other candidates get to examine those signatures. And it turns out that a brief audit showed that Spencer Cox doesn't even have sufficient signatures. He is not qualified to be on the ballot. You know what they said about that? They said, well, if he had more time, he would have got him.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It is. You know what? There's corruption in every state, but I say right now the worst election fraud is happening in Utah.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely have to look into that because this is my first time hearing about that. I do think the 2020 election had a lot of questions, especially in the swing states. I
Yeah.
mean, we saw so many irregularities that happened. I kind of want to start off with your predictions for the 2024 election. Right now, I mean, a lot of the betting markets, a lot of the swing states, polls have a lot of it at a dead heat. But in a lot of cases, Trump is actually just flat right. He's up right now. What's your prediction for the 2024 election?
It's now. I know you and I are big time Trump supporters,
Yeah.
but it's going to be bad for America either way. Now, why would it be bad for America if Trump wins? What did Patrick Henry say? I know not how to judge the future, but by the past. And judging by the past, what is it that we should all know? One, they've already tried to kill him twice. If he wins, what do you think they're going to do then? Two, what kind of violence have we experienced that is a result of Trump being a possible president again? There's going to be widespread violence. I think it's going to be some of the worst we've ever seen in the history of our country. And the Biden-Harris administration have already allowed terrorists and dissidents. I'm talking about Middle Eastern terrorists, Muslim extremist terrorists have infiltrated our country. They are now coordinating their efforts with the cartels. The cartels have set up shop in America. Murderers and thieves obviously have increased crime like crazy in America. When you have Venezuelan gangs, first of all, you need to ask yourself, how did Venezuelan gangs get here? That should be part of our criminal investigation that we're asking all the sheriffs, the attorneys general across the country in every state, and the governors to initiate so they can find out how many politicians and how many corrupt officials of Washington, D.C. have aided and abetted illegal immigration into the United States. And because of that, now they're going to be able to commit acts of violence after Trump is elected that will be blamed all on Trump, and it's going to be bad for America. And I don't see there any other way. It's going to be worse if Kamala gets in because she's going to kill our Constitution and replace it with the Communist Manifesto. And they're chomping at the bit to get her in there to do that. Folks, let's be real clear here. Every single thing that has been so devastating to our country the last 4 years is 100% Biden-Harris's fault. They've done it together. They're the ones that have brought in more human trafficking. No one cares, and especially their party. No one in Washington, D.C. is going to do anything about it. Child sexual exploitation. Nobody cares in Washington, D.C. They're not going to do anything about it. The FBI is not going to investigate that. 100% that they caused the inflation rate to go sky high. That's all their fault. And the complete and utter corruption of Washington, D.C., which is destroying our country. The greatest threat to our country is our own federal government. And what does Biden want to do? He wants to arm illegal aliens, and he wants to arm 87,000 new IRS agents.
Yep.
So, folks, this is their solution. This is their answer. And there's people here that want to vote for more of that. Are you totally out of your minds? But no.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
I didn't even mention the fentanyl and the 100,000 overdoses, deaths every year. Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. And this is supposed to be America?
Yeah. I want to ask you a question. So one thing I know that you've been involved with is the border. I believe that you visited the border, you've patrolled the border, you've spoken to people that work at the border. Can you tell us really what it's like down there? Because I've never been there myself. When I immigrated to the U.S. from Mexico, I was about a month old. So, and I came in legally through an airplane, so I never got to go through the border. I would love to hear about what your experience has been and what you know about it.
Well, ever since I was sheriff, I toured the border quite a bit when I was sheriff. I was sheriff in Graham County, which is just one county north of the border. Cochise County is where they're really having the problems. And poor Sheriff Daniels there is wringing his hands and pulling his hair out about all the problems that our government has caused for the state of Arizona and for his county. They have caused that. Kamala and Biden have caused that. It wasn't an accident. They did it intentionally, and we want criminal investigations on all of them. Turns out that Sheriff Mark Lamb has already done an investigation on Alejandro Mayorkas for the crimes he has committed relative to not protecting the border and allowing all these people to come into the country, and for the crime rate that he has been responsible for increasing. So the border is, let me give a statistical analysis. In law enforcement, we detect about 12 to 15% of all crime. Most crime goes undetected. That includes corruption, public corruption. So the problem is about 8.5 times worse than what we really know. So times the invasion of our country and the crimes committing there, it's 8 times worse than what we know. And that's with all of this. The subterfuge and the dishonesty and the corruption of our public officials, especially in Washington, it's 8 times worse. And the pedophilia, 8 times worse. The missing children, 8 times worse. The drug abuse, 8 times worse. And so I've been to the border both in Texas, McAllen, Texas. I rode the machine gun boats there. And I also walked through the drug tunnels and human trafficking tunnels along with the border in Douglas, Agua Prieta, to be more precise. I've also been along the Nogales border quite a bit. You need to understand that this is my degree is in Latin American Studies and Spanish. And I don't blame people for wanting to come here. And I do blame the banana republics of Latin America, who are so cruel and dictatorial in their governments. And they should be creating free societies where everyone has equal opportunity, what America was supposed to be. But everybody is supposed to have a level playing field that government guarantees for all people. But they don't, and and most of the governments there are very corrupt. Ours is very corrupt, and these people need to be replaced. These people need to be investigated, but there's still no real communication between leadership in America and the leadership throughout Latin American countries. And so, of course, Venezuela has been pretty much made an enemy to America. And look at this, folks. The Venezuelan gangs who entered these apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, that's 100% Biden and Harris results. And then people want to turn around and vote. Well, they wanted to vote for both of them. And now they're saying, wow, we should have stuck it out with Biden. He's a better candidate, because they've seen how horrible Kamala is. But regardless, we've got to open our eyes and open our ears and see what's going on, and try to do the best for our country to defend her. And folks, the 10th Amendment shows that we, the people and the states, are the ultimate power and control. And again, we won this case on that. And folks, I can't stress enough that you need to get these books. Look, there's no markup in these. You can get 3 of these for $5.
Where do we find them? What website?
CSPOA.org. CSPOA.org. Go to the menu, go to shop, and then look at all my books. And this is the most important book. The other books cost money, $10, $15. This costs $2 or $3 for $5. And this is the most powerful book you can have in your pocket, except for the Pocket Constitution. Fits right here. Get these, folks. It is absolutely the most powerful Supreme Court case of our lifetime.
So is this is the right website that I'm looking at?
Yeah, you're on it. And you go
Awesome.
to, I can't see that very good, but shop or books. Yeah. Keep scrolling.
I see apparel, audio, video, books, DVDs.
I think that might be on it.
Yep, I see it.
And
Supreme
then,
Court
yeah,
case
there it is.
for
Yeah,
state
there it
sovereignty.
is. My hand's on it. Yep.
There we go.
Supreme Court case. That's it.
Awesome. So here it is, guys. I'm going to put the link in the comments. So if you guys want to go take a look at support.
Folks, you will love that decision. It even says, we have held, however, that state legislatures are not subject to federal direction. Folks, that's right from this decision. That's a quote. I quoted that word for word. The states are not subject to federal direction. They're not our boss. We are their boss. We formed them. We gave them assignments. And folks, you want to look through the Constitution? I have. There's 5 law enforcement authorities that we delegated to the federal government. 5. Not 1,000 that they've stolen or that the FBI has stolen. They have 5. Well, what would we do if we did? I don't care what we would do if we didn't have these corrupt bureaucracies. I don't care. Follow the law. The law is they get to investigate treason. Don't you wish the FBI would investigate treason? But they won't. Second, counterfeiting. Third, felonies committed on the high seas or piracies. Yeah, the states aren't supposed to be putting boats out there and patrolling the high seas. 4, Article 4, Section 4 says the federal government shall protect our borders from invasion. And 5 is violations of treaties. That is all the law enforcement powers they get. That's it. So where does the federal government have authority to do drug interdiction? The border. They have jurisdiction at the border. They're supposed to be protecting our borders. And if they don't do it, can the states lawfully take it back? They sure can. And the judge told Texas that they can't protect the border. That's such a fallacy and a farce.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that they were trying to put up their own border fencing, and then Biden
made them take it down.
sued and told them to take it down, which I thought was like.
If I was the governor, I would tell this to the judge: we're not taking it down. We're protecting Texas, and that's our job. Stay out of the way.
Yeah, and I have the chart here on the screen. This is probably one of the most famous graphics in the history of this country now, because this is the chart that Donald Trump was looking at when he turned his head at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally, which ultimately saved his life by an inch. This is the sign right here. And anyone who says that the border crisis was just as bad under Trump, the numbers don't lie. And we could see right here, just looking at this graph, how bad it's gotten under the Biden-Harris regime.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
It's been worse than bad, and it's worse than what that graph shows. Is like I was alluding to earlier. It is more than just a national crisis. It is the destruction of America. We cannot sustain this. We will not survive it. Just like the $36 trillion in debt, we will not survive that either. And so, folks, be prepared. And on our website, we offer a company that totally supports us, satellite phones. You should get those because they're guaranteed to maintain coverage, even if the grid is down or the towers are down, your phones are down. How many times have phones been down for like a day or two because they won't tell us why? But the major telephone companies, including AT&T, have had some real problems staying up during the last, during 2024. And satellite phones work everywhere except inside buildings. Okay, they have to have a clear shot to the satellite receiver. So get those at our website, sat123.com, sat123.com. Go also to shop Numana Foods for food storage on our website. Yeah, there we go. And I do have, folks, I will tell you, I've got 2 solar generators for my home. Solar generators. That's what you really need. Yeah. So anyway, I've got all that. I've got all that. Look at all the stuff they have there for preparedness, and you will love it. There's those satellite phones, and really the cost of those isn't too much different than your normal phone. So check them out. My son lives in Kauai, and I sent him a satellite phone because we want to maintain communication with him. But
That's
you have
cool.
to have, you have to wait. You have to have a way to keep it charged, or you're going to be in trouble. Yeah. So anyway, folks, a word to the wise: be prepared.
Awesome. I want to play a short video. It's only about 30 seconds long. This is a gentleman that I met doing one of my street interviews, and it's about the hurricane. And I want you guys to meet an American that's been impacted by the hurricane. And then Sheriff Mack, I want to talk about the FEMA and the corruption, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right. So check out this video, guys. It's on my Twitter.
I can't hear him.
Oh, there's no audio. Hold on. Let me fix that. Yeah. Whenever I'm doing a like a live stream, then I want to play a video. It's different settings.
Oh, okay.
Whatever they got going on with this hurricane relief
Is that better?
Yes.
crap, it's bogus because I'm actually displaced from the hurricane that came through Milton. I lost my job and my living situation, so I've been pretty much couch surfing and homeless. I've been on the phone with FEMA. They can't do anything. They told me to call United Way. Been trying to get on the phone with them. I've been on the phone with
49 minutes
With,
for Florida. Yeah.
trying to get some kind of food assistance benefits, and I
Wow.
can't get anything. They said because you're a renter and you didn't own property, they can't do anything for you.
So this is just one of the many examples of what's happening in this country, of Americans being unable to get any assistance from FEMA. So, Sheriff Mack, I know that you talk about corruption in FEMA, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, it was going. Those sort of things were actually happening for a long time. They happened while I was sheriff across the country. I warned people back then about FEMA, and so I've been warning people about FEMA for over 30 years. They pick and choose who they help. During this time that this was happening to this good man and this fellow American, Kamala Harris announced that the federal government was sending $157 million to Lebanon because the people there were having extreme difficulty surviving. And then what happened to the people in North Carolina? Biden and Mayorkas and Harris promised them $750 after they just sent $157 million to Lebanon, and because of the same reason, because they were struggling to survive. And then this guy, because he rents, doesn't get anything. He's an American. I wonder why Trump came out with America first, because that's exactly it. Look how stupid these people are. These are our leaders. And wouldn't you love to know the truth? Why she would send $157 million? Where did she get authorization for that? Only Congress can authorize such. And they do all this illegal spending. It's misappropriation of funding. It's anti-American. And then this poor guy and others are left there to survive. Folks, do not depend on FEMA to take care of you in emergency. Build your own preparedness in your own family and in your own county. Work with your sheriffs to create food supplies, guaranteed communication systems, ham radio, satellite phones, and be prepared. Work with churches and work with local officials. Do not count on FEMA.
How do we fix this? I mean, what do you think the solution is into weeding out this corruption and making sure that we can help Americans when they're in need?
Well, the state should be building these up. States and counties should be building this up. Stop sending your money to Washington, D.C. Governors, why would you continue to fund FEMA? They take money from the states. We send it there. And then this is what happens. folks, the states and the people have got to stand stronger against the horrible corruption and corrupt spending of our federal corrupt officials. We've got to do something. Sheriffs and we the people must be involved in this process. Imagine that we would have emergency preparedness in every county. Because folks, what did Reagan say the scariest words in the English language were? I'm here from the government and I'm here to take care of you. They're not going to take care of you. Don't ever depend on corrupt Washington, D.C. to take care of you and your families. That's our first mistake. Secondly, work within the county and the state. And I'm dead serious about this. Stop sending state monies to the federal government. Maybe, just maybe, we'll force them to do constitutional lawful spending and stop sending all our money to foreign countries who are our enemies. We still send foreign aid to Venezuela and several Middle Eastern countries. There's about 75 countries we send money to just foreign aid. It's like friendship fees. They're not our friends. Stop sending the money to foreign countries.
So one thing that I'm excited about, and I want to know if you are too, is Donald Trump seemingly has built a unity party. He's brought in a lot of former Democrats, such as RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. Now he has Elon Musk on his side, the real life Tony Stark. And one thing that Elon Musk said he wants to do is become the Department of Government Efficiency. He wants to look at where we're spending our money on a federal level and to clean it up. Do you think Elon Musk is going to be able to help do that with Donald Trump?
Absolutely. I pray they do. I just heard Donald Trump Jr. on a show this morning on the radio, and they asked him the same question. He said 100% that is going to happen. 100%. If you're really going to save America, you've got to address this horrible, catastrophic debt that we're in. Does everybody know all of our federal income tax goes to pay the interest on that corrupt debt? It doesn't go to anything or anybody. No, it doesn't go to FEMA. That's probably why they're out of money. Folks, all the money they're spending is money we do not have. They're creating money out of thin air. They're creating more inflation. They have us all brainwashed that you can keep spending money that we do not have. And folks, we have got to pray and hope that Trump gets in there, that he is protected by God Almighty, and that they actually address this issue to where we can get this enslaving debt and bankrupt. They're going to bankrupt our country, bankrupt all of us, and it's going to affect our Social Security, and it's going to affect our retirements that are in banks. Folks, you need to really look seriously if she gets in there at pulling your money out of those accounts.
Yeah, I mean, I fear what's going to happen if she gets in. We could see a stock market collapse.
Yep.
And I'm not a financial advisor, but I think that if Trump wins, we're going to see a really nice surge in all the markets.
Yeah.
And I think if Kamala gets in, we're going to see a big problem.
If he gets rid of that stupid spending, corrupt spending, and start addressing the debt. I mean, Rand Paul puts this out all the time. To get the debt under control, we would only need to cut every agency in Washington, D.C. 2%.
That's it?
2%. Yep.
Wow.
It would take a few years. But that's all you'd have to do. Every year they get bigger and bigger. They spend more money. They hire more people. They raise their own salaries. And this has got to stop.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at Twitter, for example. Elon came in, purchased Twitter, and then he basically gutted the company. And now X has become bigger in terms of usage and time spent than it's ever been in its history. So Elon has proven with X alone that he's able to gut and improve efficiency and still produce a really good product. And so I'd like to see him do the same, with our federal government. The one thing I also want to talk about today is I don't know if you had a chance to watch the rally yesterday at Madison Square Garden.
Just part of the reviews, yes.
So one of the biggest stories that came out was a comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe, who made a very dark joke about Puerto Rico, calling it a pile of garbage inside the ocean. And obviously, there's been a lot of backlash from the white liberals and the mainstream media about this joke being made. Now, I understand that you said Latin American studies, you speak Spanish. So I want to know, do you think this is being overblown? Do you think it's just a joke? Like, what is your opinion on the situation?
Well, I don't think that all the jokes that are being told out there should be taken that seriously. I don't think the guy was serious. I hope he wasn't. I would never say that about anybody. I would say it maybe about their government leaders in Puerto Rico. But I love Puerto Rico. I've never been there. My son has been there a few times. I would love to go visit Puerto Rico. And I've traveled extensively throughout Latin America, but I just never got there. I actually even hoped to work there in one of my jobs at one time, but it never panned out. But I would never call people that a group of people on any island or any country, those kind of names, kind of like Hillary called all of us deplorables.
Yeah.
Folks, it's Puerto Rico is not garbage. I think they have some corruption problems just like we do that creates a lot of garbage. But the people of Puerto Rico are good, hardworking, family-oriented people. And I feel the same way about that in Latin America. I don't associate anybody from Colombia or Venezuela with a gang or drug dealers, but both of those countries have that reputation. I have friends from Colombia. I have friends from Venezuela. And so the comment probably shouldn't have been made the way it was, but it wasn't from Trump. And I think that the Hispanic people have seen the light, and I think that they know that America and all of us are better off when Trump was the president. So that's how we should vote.
Absolutely. I mean, my viewpoint on it was, those are my dogs in the background. My viewpoint on it was that I wasn't offended by the joke because I think comedians, part of what they do is they push the envelope.
Yeah.
They make jokes. Some of those jokes are inappropriate. Some of those jokes might be racist, and that's just part of what comedy is.
Yeah.
We can't restrict that free speech. However, I do think that it was the wrong timing and the wrong place for that kind of joke to be made. 9 days out from an election, I don't think that we should be giving the Democrats any ammunition.
Yeah,
And,
good point. Very good point. But you remember the comedian Don Rickles?
Yes.
Oh, he of course he was a Jew, but he blasted everybody. And I remember on Johnny Carson one night, he said, "Oh, the black man up at the top," and he made some offhanded racial slur about him. And then Johnny Carson challenged him, said, "Oh, you're making up those jokes. There's not even a black man up there." So Rickles walked up to the top and grabbed the black man and brought him to the stage. But Don Rickles really attacked and was relentless going after different races, including white people. And to me, he was one of the funniest guys out there ever. And I think that all of us need to relax and stop promoting this racial division propaganda and brainwashing that's going on. Look, I don't dislike anyone because of the color of their skin. God-given liberty is for every person in the world. Okay? I don't care where you're from. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care what religion you are or that you're no religion. I do not care. I care about individual liberty for you and for me and my family. If there's exemptions to that, then we're all going to get a turn. And there's no way I want that. Liberty is for all God's children. I don't care if you live in the Middle East, Russia, Asia, Australia, American continent. I don't care. It's for all of us. Make sure that that's what you promote. Make sure that's the type of people you vote for.
Well, beautifully said. That's awesome. I mean, we definitely covered a lot of topics today, from the border to FEMA corruption, to the election, as well as the book that you have. And I hope that some of you guys go support Sheriff Mack and buy his book.
Yeah.
Looks really
also,
interesting.
everybody can join our posse. Join the posse. You want to join the solution? You want to join a peaceful and effective solution, we provide that on our website. Join the CSPOA posse. That's for all citizens. Be involved with us. Be part of the solution.
So if you go to his website, cspoa.org, you're going to see a button up top that says join the posse. And there's a picture of Sheriff Mack. Look at him right there. There he is. And you could go check out his website, CSPOA. I'll put it in the comments if you guys want to go check out the website, give it some
Please
views.
do. Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Awesome. Dr. Sheriff Mack, do you have any closing thoughts for my audience you'd like to share?
I think what I said about freedom being for everybody, yes, and I'll quote the last line of the Declaration of Independence. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. To that end, we must all dedicate our lives today.
Thank you. That was really awesome. Well, Sheriff Mack, I loved having you on my stream, and you're definitely invited to come on whenever you want, especially if there's like a breaking news story that you want to react to.
Okay.
Just reach out to me, and you're always welcome on my stream.
After the election, let's see if we can do this again.
Awesome. Thank you, Sheriff Mack.
See you soon.
Appreciate you. All right, guys, that was Sheriff Mack, and I think we had a really awesome conversation. What's really cool is having these kind of people on our side is we can get on the ground information that's not going to be available in mainstream media. We can get the truth from people that are on the ground working in these areas. So I really loved having him on our channel today, and I appreciate all you guys being part of the stream. Just a reminder to everybody watching, please vote early, right? Definitely go out and vote, but also make sure you bring friends to the polls. Get your friends to go vote. Talk to people on the street, wear your Trump hat, basically normalize supporting Donald Trump. Be loud, be vocal. The way I've decided to help out is by doing my street flag waves, my street interviews, my one-on-one conversations such as this. And I do believe that for some people, it has moved the needle and it has helped out. So definitely, please go vote. We need to win this election, which is happening in, I believe, 8 days from now. We got to get Trump in. We need to get Trump in. All right, guys, I'm going to go hit the dog park and work on a new video for you guys. I did a video yesterday with a friend. I got to go edit that, make sure I get it up later tonight. And then around 6 or 7, actually, it's going to have to be 6 o'clock. I'm going to go flag wave somewhere because we got to keep the momentum going before the election. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me today. And I appreciate you. And as always, God bless Donald J. Trump.